Anyway, I'm sure many people made jokes about Gotham City not being in the game already, so let's not go there. Raising Hell Software was founded by a few folks at Liverpool, England in 1988. They developed a few games like the Killing Game Show, but when Sega reached them, they raised concern about their name having hell in it. So after that spiel, they went with until they cracked the thesaurus and came up with Bizarre Creations in 94. I wonder if the same person who designed the Traveler's Tales logo also drew this. Under their new name, they created their PS1 Formula 1 games for Psygnosis and for Fighters for Acclaim. Then Sega approached them once again after looking at their racers and told them to make another racer for them. So they made Metropolis Street Racer exclusive to the Dreamcast in late 2000 and early 2001, which I've already talked about it in a QDF last month. That commercially flopped, mainly because it was sold at the wrong time 1 to 3 months after the PS2 was launched, plus how buggy the game was at launch in Europe. But they won't let those kudos go, so they made another one, this time as a launch title for Microsoft's newfangled Xbox. Despite Sega owning the name rights for MSR, the Pumpkinheads, as I like to call them, decided to call their new baby Project Gotham Racing, or Project Gotham Wall Street Racing as it was known in Japan. And the rest, as they say, is a lot of bullshit, come on! Let me preface this by saying that I'm playing it on the Xbox 360. While it works, it can suffer from a slowdown, most drastic during the street races, plus this spot in Times Square. Wow, that Xenon chip couldn't take that power of outdated software, huh? But again, it's a PowerPC RISC CPU and not some x86 square like the Pentium 3 the old Xbox have, so they had to emulate the thing. So yeah, I have to keep the slow controls and input lag in mind. Much like MSR, the intro movie plays before the logos show up, although this one just shows gameplay and replay footage, but it's still an intro to entice a player. I get angsty whenever I hear heartbeats though. Look at all that majestic Helvetica. Let's start a new profile, and who are these people anyway? I'm gonna name this profile Jane Vasco. You know, that red-headed girl with the ability to regenerate health that she got from Magic Man or some coma-inducing substance depending on the version. So we have 3 main modes to play in Project Metropolis Racing: Quick Race, Arcade Race, and Kudos Challenge. The first is just races. Arcade Race doesn't actually have races, but instead it's the infamous cone challenges. And Kudos Challenge is much like Street Racing mode in MSR. You play 12 sets of challenges to progress, unlike in MSR where you have to progress to the next chapter by earning enough kudos, which is rather hard without the Joker card in the early stages. You only progress by finishing at least bronze, much like the other 2 modes. At first there's 4 events to play, but the number will increase by the next chapter, so buckle up because it's gonna be a long ride. Alright, so here we are. The controls, while similar to MSR, has a bit more freedom than before. You still use the triggers for gas and brake, but the second stick is also used for that as well. I'm more used to this being a camera stick ever since playing Forza, so it's a surprise seeing it not do that. Fortunately, reversing is mapped to the brake button, although this is a lame when you do it, so it's better to press X or downshift to negate it. The physics have been overhauled, meaning that you can perform 2-wheeling from the curbs and jumps at the San Francisco maps and on the stairs of Waterloo Plaza. Much like MSR, the rear-wheel drive cars, which is most of them, tend to oversteer and spin you to a wall, so it's better to accelerate at a turn instead of letting it go when doing a handbrake drift. That can get frustrating, especially in the style challenges. Now, this may be a box standard arcade racer with licensed cars like the old Need for Speed games in the 90s, but there are some quirks and features here. For instance, the kudos system. In MSR, you only receive kudos by drifting and doing the challenge as well, but you also get penalized for hitting walls and cars, which gets annoying during races. And you don't receive much apparently. Here the system has been overhauled as well. Instead of a K showing up as you drift, which gets opaque the longer you do it, you actually get a ring on the drift, jumps, 2-wheelings, overtakes, and clean sections, as well as passing cones in the style challenges. Not only that, but you chain them together for bonus points. You only have a short time window at 2 seconds, or sometimes a bit longer if you're playing it on a 360. And you lose your combo if you hit walls or cones. Hitting cars are fine though, they just don't award you a clean section bonus if you do. Much like in MSR, earning kudos is the key to progress. In the kudos challenge, getting first place isn't enough for gold. You have to drive like a maniac while racing against your opponents to reach that milestone. Getting bronze is enough, but you know me, I like to try getting gold just so I can get most of the content faster. It's a shame that they'll get really high when you go further, I'll get to that. Another thing that stands out from other races at the time is the type of events. There's races and duels, but you also have the overtake challenges, are laps faster than average, which now have a timer as a way to fix that one exploit, average speed challenges, timed runs, where you must finish the course before time runs out while avoiding traffic cars, and the infamous cone challenges. Oh yeah, this thing. Like I said in my MSR review, this is my favorite game mode in the series. Basically what you gotta do is pass through these cone gates while also doing stunts. Green gates give you 5 points, while blue gates depend on the speed you pass them. The goal is to chain as much gate passes and stunts as possible to reach the milestone. It's easier said than done, as you'll most likely hit coins or walls if you're as erratic as me. Look, I just want that gold medal, okay? The car list is reduced here with only 29 cars. At least it doesn't consist entirely of a Hero hatchback to slow coupes as much as I like those cars. The only front wheel drive car in the game is the Mini. Rest is just rear wheel drive or all wheel drive, and I'm all for it. Just because the list was reduced doesn't mean it doesn't have any standouts, like the RX hit concept, a Panos, an Impreza, another Impreza, and oh shit, some Porsches. For real, I kept seeing this Feroce on Google Images and that Feroce in the game. Glad I don't have to be stuck with one car for the majority of the game, as you can use any car for a race. Here's a little hint, it's best to use the Lotus X series for the style challenges. You unlock more by getting a total amount of kudos within the Arcade or Quick Races chapters, the latter requiring gold in all races in the chapter, or winning these one-on-one challenges which, much like in MSR, you can give your opponent a head start for more kudos. At least it's actually easier to get the guy after a head start than the MSR when the cars are even. The tracks are mostly lifted from MSR, even the boring looking Pacific Heights is in. A new addition is New York, spanning Wall Street, Central Park, and Times Square. You would drive around cramped short tracks and longer ones with narrow sections, and with a more advanced coaster, they have more detail than MSR. I forgot to bring up in my MSR review, but like that, as you progress through the game, you'll unlock free roaming versions of the maps, where you can explore the series during April 2020. Oh god, I'm dating the video. This time you get to hit cones as fast as possible if you want. There isn't much to say about what I haven't already mentioned in that review, other than the narrow tracks can be annoying. You'll likely run into stuff that'll get you penalized if you're not extra careful. You don't lose your kudos when you try again this time. Much like MSR, you can increase the difficulty by lowering the time for hot laps and time runs, or raise the required precision for races for a bigger bonus. And the kudos rewards are bigger, but that doesn't mean much now. Like I said, to progress, you have to earn at least all the bronze medals in the chapter by reaching a milestone. Hey, at least it isn't like Quick Race where you must win gold to get a new car. You can earn jokers which double your kudos count, although I don't know how to do it. I tried getting all gold on the first chapter as a test, but that didn't work. And, well, it's time to talk about the difficulty. At the start, it's more forgiving. Your opponents will be far away from you when in first place sometimes, and they aren't that violent. And then you reach the professional season. Oh god. I don't get why, but I kept getting worse on every lap during hot laps. And the races got harder, obviously, but not as sudden as the quick races. The first 3 chapters there were fair and all, but then the difficulty gets ramped up at very hard. I don't know how inconsistent the difficulty can be. It depends on the car. I made a mistake of driving the currently available all-wheel drive cars, and as I was doing it, the opponents were kicking my ass and pulled away from me, making it impossible to get first place. Look! You think this is fair? I'm getting flashbacks of that one race in MSR. And then I tried the panels, and sure enough, I earned all the gold to get the new car. I'll never get this game. But back to Kudos Challenge, it's gonna get harder to at least get bronze due to short time limits and the AI. Oh god, the AI are a bitch in later chapters. They race like how I do it. They picture in corners, they use rubber banding, all of that bull crap. I guess this is how drivatars act. I'll keep that in mind when I review Forza 5. And don't get me started on the endurance season. Padding for the sake of game length is all I can say about this. What else is there? Oh, if you play for 5 hours, you unlock Mental Pursuit, which is try to get the best time in the car to earn special cars for that. And to unlock those racing libraries, you have to complete the secret 13th chapter in on gold. What the fuck? Ugh, screw it, I'm not wasting more time. Going nozzly. For presentation, it gives a good first impression for the Xbox back in 2001. They look really colorful and lifelike compared to Gran Turismo 3 from the same year. The cars are fair enough, some oddities there and there, but they still look better than MSR. That was unfair of me to say the cars in MSR look like they should be in Sega GT. Despite not having an interior view, you can still see your little fella moving their steering wheel and changing gears, a nice attention to detail. Oddly enough, this is the only game in the series to play at 60 FPS, so it's unusual for a PGR game to run so smooth. On the original Xbox, that is. Unlike MSR, it's all dynamic real-time day and night cycle, it's just static day or night depending on the race. Meaning that you always get evening in Pacific Heights, Shinjuku, and Trafalgar, dawn in Central Park and Westminster, and the rest is either noon or afternoon. I'm worrying that the game on a superior console has something that's inferior to the previous game. Well, I could excuse that since they made this in a year or less. Remember when Frisco was all blue? Next time show us an ultrasound. Sound is good, the car noises are not accurate yet bearable to listen, but those kudos sounds are a godsend. Ticks give a good feedback that prevents you from getting the swoosh sound of the teleaddict for another 2 seconds. Yeah, I'm not good at criticizing audio, that's why I don't care much about emulation issues regarding that. Unless it's those at games consoles. As for the music, most radio stations are or used to be real, but real DJs blabbing out stuff. Thankfully, there's no fake adverts in between, so no shit about Diet Tango. Like in MSR, there's 3 stations per city that mostly play specific genres, like Gotham Radio in New York, which plays pop rock and some rap music, and Volcano Radio in Tokyo playing hard rock, and some Japanese person pretending to be Lemmy. Don't expect any cheesy country here, music is all licensed now, ranging from well-known rock stars like Iggy Pop, Definitely Rough, and Gorillaz. Thank God it's not the Soul Child remix. The indie Japanese tracks include Sushi Murai, yes, the guy who composed music for Terraformers. To Electric Pop from Chemical Brothers, Photech, and others, to some hip-hop from Sir Mix-a-Lot and others. Yeah, none of them compared to the fire there is MC Bobo. Tonight. Come on. Yeah, let's get it on tonight. Okay, in all seriousness, it's not my cup of tea. It's actually my cup of coffee. Yeah, it's really good most of the time. I'm pretty sure some should belong to Tony Hawk or something. I'm not a big fan of hip-hop, but I like 3 of the songs here, Aisle 10, Identity Crisis, and Broken Tape Decks. Anything else that just basically changed the radio. Hell, there's this rap song, Same Old by PYT, where as simple as The Edge from Alex Rod and McCallum. The same sample used for the next episode. Smoke weed every day. And I just can't take it seriously. Fortunately, you can create your own playlist in the options menu, and if you don't like the soundtrack, you can play any CD you have imported to the Xbox with ease. And only in the Xbox, the 360's OS is incompatible for that kind of stock, so Spotify or something else is recommended, since trying to use the Gaiman is out of reach. Damn, and I wanted to play the MSR soundtrack while I play. Oh well, I could just improvise. Batman Gotham City Racer is a really good game despite being overshadowed by the sequels. Yeah, it gets unbearably hard at little stages and the AI will make you their bitch, but it's still pretty engaging at best. Like I said, I could play another 360, albeit with a bunch of slowdowns. I'm sure I'll get around playing PGR 2 since it's much worse on the 360 than this.